And welcome to episode 30 of the Football Fanatic podcast. I feel proud saying that. Dan, Howard, how are you getting on, man? You good?
Good. Yeah. Episode 30.
Episode 30, we've come a long way in that
We
time.
have come a long way. My
Good
God.
weekend of football for episode 30 to land.
Absolutely, yeah. Great weekend of football. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it. We will start where there's only one place to start, and that is at Anfield. Liverpool won, Manchester City won. I'm not going to give my thoughts on it. I haven't actually spoken to Dan about the match since yesterday. He was busy and I was busy, so this is going to be the first time we're talking about it. So I want the neutral voice to be heard first. Howard, what did you make of it? Give me a couple of bullet points, any standout moments, talking points. Should have been penalties, should have not been penalties.
Yeah. Look, I'll go through from an unbiased perspective. I
Yeah.
was kind of watching it with this kind of
Just
review in
before you
mind, I think.
just before you
Yeah.
start, what did you want it to be? Just before you give your
Oh, before
unbiased.
I wanted it to be a
Yeah.
draw.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
That was the best. Like the two teams dropping a combined four points is better than one team dropping 2 point or 3 points or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was the way I was looking at it. Then after that, I was hoping for maybe a Liverpool win. The worst scenario was a City win for me. I felt because I think just they just go into overdrive then. So look, that was what I was looking for before the game. When started watching the game, saw the team sheet. I was like, God, no Kanate, Salah on the bench. No Trent, no Allison. I was like, I felt City, had it. They had no excuses not to win in Anfield for the first time in I don't know how long. But when the game started, um, I I felt it was going in the way I thought it was going to go, which was City getting their foot on the ball, playing passes, starting to dominate the game, and that was like that for like only 10 minutes maybe. But at that point, I was like, oh yeah, Liverpool are expected. They're doing what I expect them to do, which was not be as Liverpool as they usually are without them key players. But then I felt um after that 10 or 15 minutes, I thought that first half became a very even half between the two teams. I thought the goal by Stones was a brilliantly worked set piece. I thought it was brilliant the way they got Ake out of there
Yeah.
and left that space open. Thought it was like a genius little move and what a time to do it like in the biggest game of the season. And then I thought like they weren't creating really much before that, City. And then Liverpool, similar-esque. I thought like Diaz was getting forward, but there was no real threat like in behind or like shots on goal that you were like, oh God, they're really pressing on here. So at half time, I was like, apart from that one set piece, I felt it was very even. I thought it was, it could have been a draw, really. I thought at half time. Then in the second half, that was a different story. And I thought like Gary Neville said it on commentary, I think even before the game, or he said like if you want to beat Liverpool, you have to nullify them in the first half. It's funny when he says that because like they do get their tails up in the second half, and I remember it even from the Arsenal game last year in Anfield, it was just literally domination from Liverpool in the second half. And fair play to Liverpool, they completely like went way past what I thought they were going to be able to do in that second half, and they completely, I thought, not pummeled City, but there was only one team I thought personally were going to win it, and that was Liverpool. I thought it was edging that way. That's not to say City weren't a threat. They still were a threat with Doku and a few others, but I thought then when Liverpool got the penalty, which was a daft decision from Allison and Ake, a combination of both. We'll get into that, I'm sure, at some stage. Um, Nunez was a thorn in the ass, I think, for the defenders there. He was caught offside so many times, but I thought there was a couple of times he was unlucky to be caught offside, and he was causing issues for the lads in defence. I thought Diaz not starting was an interesting one as well, but again, we can discuss that. So look, after that, I thought Liverpool to win, and then you obviously they were pressing. They were at the door near the end, and of course you had that big penalty shout near the end, which I personally think, God, even now thinking about it, I've seen so many replays. I I'm I can see why they didn't give it, but I'm also jumping up and down if that was Arsenal saying that has to be a penalty but I can also see why they didn't give it. I'll talk more about that anyway afterwards. But that was my synopsis, and I would just say, just brilliant by Liverpool. I thought they were very unlucky not to win the game, and for them to have that team out there and not get and perform like they did, it was brilliant. Robertson and Salah, if they had started the game, would Liverpool have won the game? Question mark there, maybe possibly. So yeah, look, that's my synopsis from the game anyway. I thought Liverpool were credited themselves and deserved probably the 3 points.
Fair enough. Um, I'll give my quick synopsis of the game. I thought we shaded the first half. I agree fully. The first 10, 15 minutes, we were passing the ball around and we didn't have many chances, many glaring chances kind of even throughout the game. Yes, there was a handful, but the goal I thought was very well taken. I think just we 51-49 we just about deserved to kind of be ahead going into halftime. In the second half, it was a very poor mistake from Ake that led to the penalty, absolute penalty, which led to Ederson having to come off, and supposedly he's out for 3 to 4 weeks, so that puts him under pressure for the Arsenal game. And then Liverpool absolutely battered us. All right, and I have no problem
Yeah.
saying that he battered us, and they deserved 100% to be ahead in the game. Um, but they didn't take it. Okay, and I'm not gonna call them, they didn't like. I was joking in the group chat when I said that they threw it away. You didn't throw it away. Like for the team that you had and the people that you're missing, you put in an unbelievable performance. But I just think that, especially Diaz, he was brilliant.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a lot of people are writing him in the paper today that could have been one of his best performances for Liverpool. But I mean, the chances that he had were so
Yeah,
good. He could have had, he
that's a good
could have,
point. Missed two.
yeah, he could have he could have had a hat trick, and he deserved a hat trick. He was so good, but he was not clinical enough. So I mean, what do you call it? I just think that they were better than us. They were miles better than us in the second half, but they just didn't finish the job off, and they let us away with one. And if anything, they've just made it a tighter race by not finishing us off yesterday, where it's gone from 2 points to 1 point now. Doku with the chance at the end, and again, it's such tight margins. I mean, that ball ricocheted off the post right into Kelleher's hands. Had it been 2 inches, 3 inches to the left or to the right, could have been in the goal, or else it would have fallen straight at Foden's foot, and it would have been 2-1. It would have been undeserved, but it would have been 2-1. Um, that's my take on it. It was a lucky get out of jail card for City, but we got out of there. Liverpool did not finish us off, and over to you, Dan.
I find it very interesting that you just completely missed the penalty incident
Oh,
at the end there.
I haven't missed it. I wasn't the penalty, and that's my opinion. But I'd like to hear your version of it.
Okay, so just before I start, if that was anywhere else on the pitch, is it a foul?
No,
Just a yes or no?
no,
Yeah, it's a foul. Yeah, it's a
It's a
not,
foul.
complete
It's
100%
a,
foul.
that's
not,
why you can see both sides of it. Like
not for me.
Yeah.
when we just discussed the penalty situation while we're here, rather than and then Dan, you can give us a whole synopsis of what you
Mm.
thought. Like for
Okay.
me, yeah, for me, the reason why I can see it not being given is because if you do a tackle in the ground in the box and you get the ball clearly, and then you put studs in a guy's shin afterwards or on his foot, they probably won't give that as a penalty because of the contact with the ball, and
We're
the
not talking
contact
shin
after.
though.
Yeah, well, look, shin or chest, I'm just talking about getting the ball and then hitting someone afterwards is a
Yeah.
foul. You know what I mean? And that's always a foul all day long during in midfield or outside the box. But then in the box, that's why there's a little. It's at that level. It's a free kick outside the box,
Yeah.
but is it strong enough to be a penalty? And I would be in the same boat as you, Dan. I would be pissed off if it wasn't. I've seen replays of it actually hitting McAllister's chest before it actually hits Doku's leg. Now I don't know how good them angles are. So if
Mm.
that was the
It did
case, then
touch
you'd
McAllister
say,
first. Yeah.
yeah, then you'd say you'd like to think that's definitely a penalty if it hits McAllister first and then Doku comes in and gets him. But then again, I don't think he does put studs in him, but does he? It's kind of glancing. But look, I'm on the fence with it. I'm personally on the fence with it. I'd be pissed off if it was against me, but I can also see it
And
a reason why
that's
it wasn't given.
And it's because of like comments like that like you're on the fence, and because
Mm.
there is quite an obvious doubt in
Yeah,
people's mind.
that's you're right, Dick.
All
Yeah,
online yesterday, even after this match. I was just reading the kind of comments on that exact incident. It was like absolute blatant penalty, and then the next comment will be not a penalty in a million years. And it was
mm,
so 50-50. So I can see where like
yeah,
some fans think it absolutely is a penalty, and then I can see where other fans think that's not enough to be a penalty. I'm on that side as well. I don't think it was enough to be a penalty. I think the fact that the referee was, I think, within 5 yards of it, and he said he had a clear view of it, he decided there and then, that, okay, that is not enough to be a penalty. I appreciate the fact that Doku followed through and did catch McAllister, but I'm of the opinion that he did hit the ball first. It was stupid. He should have headed the ball. He put himself in a risky situation 100% because those types of incidents have resulted in penalties in the past, and that's why it could have gone either way, but for me, it wasn't. But I think the fact that the referee was there, he made his decision there and then, so therefore he was in charge. VAR, if they could have they watched the slow down version of it, okay, and it always looks worse when you slow it down, but they obviously watched that. They also decided, okay, this does not need to be rechecked. The referee, we are happy with the referee's decision. There was no clear and obvious foul that took place. There is doubt. So therefore, on that basis, it wasn't a penalty. That's where I stand on it. Dan, you are
You know, like
different.
there's a lot of things. Like the question, I suppose, two questions. If you ask whether or not you think it was a blatant penalty or whether or not it was 50-50. But I've asked a lot of people today whether or not if that's anywhere else in the pitch is it a foul, and the majority of people have said yes. And actually, I'm staggered that you've said that it's not a free if it's anywhere else in the pitch because a referee 100% is giving a free if that was anywhere else in the pitch without a
yeah.
doubt.
I don't.
Um,
I don't agree with that.
so, and then what amazing, there's a few things that are amazing about it. The fact as well that it was, if you're saying that, wow, we're not sure if it was or it wasn't, is what you're saying. And that seems to be a bit of a bit of a kind of a conversation going on. Like, VAR have spent over like offsides and other stupid things, so taking 2 or 3 minutes. That decision was made in about 20 seconds
Mm.
as well, which I just was mind boggling. But anyway, um, when I see the team sheet, was concerned when Kanati wasn't playing. I thought he might make it, so it was disappointing to see that he wasn't. And of course, then it's another youngster who's put in. It's interesting that he went with him as centre back over starting Robertson, which I'm not sure whether or not it was a. I presume it was a fitness thing why he didn't start. He could have played Gomez like a centre back. Simicast was there as well, but he went with Panza. So I was concerned when I seen that, yeah, that was going to weaken our team. Like you have to look at it, I suppose, put it in perspective. That was City at full strength, and that was Liverpool with 5 players of their starting 11.
Mm.
They were missing 6 of them. So when you put it into context to that, for the performance that Liverpool put up, I think was beyond anything that any football fan could even have thought, because you're going in against like the majority of that Liverpool side as well. It was their first game against City, so you take that into account as well, where most of the City are veterans at this stage when it comes to the Liverpool City kind of rivalry. So I was I agree with you. The first 15 minutes there, I think Liverpool kind of were they were just playing within themselves, and there was so much space in for City to play as they wanted, and it actually could have been. I think they had 1 or 2 half chances. We're probably not doing justice. It could have before the Stones one. I think they did have a couple of kind of chances where
Foden had a chance. He was kind of coming in, and he
just
didn't. Yeah, he didn't
yeah,
control
yeah.
the
There was
ball
two or
correctly
three
and
where
stuff.
just and another day if they were more clinical themselves, they could have been like a couple of goals up. Yeah, the corner was well worked. You see a lot of people out about that online. It's like all teams do that sort of shit. Like I just think it's part of the game. You kind of push, you shove, you try and block people off. So I
Oh,
know
that
it
was
was
never. That
yeah.
was
I seen a lot
never.
of people
That was
getting out of that.
never
It's
on
a lot
the.
of nonsense. Yeah,
And there was some daft lad saying, "Oh, he's offside because the
Yeah,
Endo
yeah,
one
I
is
read
offside."
that.
It's
Yeah.
like, how could he be offside from the corner?
yeah. No,
It's like,
that was just well worked. And in fairness, like like they weren't banging the door now at that stage, but it was a well worked goal. And I know you said that, however, about like Liverpool and their comeback kind of ability, but when you looked at the team that was on the pitch, I was concerned whether or not we'd have a kick in us to
mm,
get back into the game. Now we were gifted one in the second half. I think we did come into it after City goal. It wasn't a City performance. Like whatever it is about going to Anfield, I said it about Pep and that as well. I know he made that change with not starting Diaz, which was a strange one, but like in general, they just whatever happened, they like just completely stopped playing and just kind of sat
Yeah.
back and just allowed us onto them. And each kind of time we even got half a chance, it was like our Nunes kind of, even if he was caught offside, it was just getting the crowd going, like, and it was just if City had to just pile the ball and do what they were doing, they would have killed the momentum and the atmosphere in the stadium. But they just allowed us onto them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then the second half was just amazing. Like, to be honest with you, what the real standouts for me were Endo and Maka in the middle of the field, like absolutely, like without a shadow of a doubt, destroyed De Bruyne. De Bruyne was hauled off because he was getting destroyed. Like, I questioned his, he at times was like watching Bruno Fernandes, to be honest with you, because he was getting dispossessed, he was getting pushed off the ball, and he was whinging and moaning, would put his hands up in the air. If that was Bruno Fernandes, would be all over him. His attitude was appalling when he got nicked. I don't know how many times. I'd love to see the stats. He kept getting the ball nicked off. He didn't get a moment to breathe in the second half. And they just stopped. Like, there wasn't even anything going through him, and then it fell apart. Honest to God, like, I don't know if I've ever seen City like that ever, to be honest with you. And all it did for me was kind of heighten that, even though Liverpool were missing players, that the character will see them in this title race and will
yeah.
keep them in this title race. And if anything, it actually showed. We talked about the vulnerabilities of City this season, and they were there for all to see. It is a pity, as Deck has said there, that Diaz had a couple of chances, he didn't take them, and it's kind of a small bit bittersweet because probably I feel that we should have won the game.
He should have 100%.
Yeah, but it actually, outside of not winning the game, when you look at that, like, let's look at it on face value. So Liverpool's midfield have played together, that trio have played together 5 times. They're playing against the Man City midfield who play together every week, and they were absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, annihilated in midfield in the second half. Even like Harvey Elliott was going in and he was fucking
Thought he
pushing
played
Millie
very well,
Rodri off
Elliot.
the
I
ball.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once they moved him as well, like, I thought, like, look, I transferred to Howard. Thought Salah, when he came on, his impact was immediate for Diaz, but actually outside of that, he had 2 or 3 chances where he was, or kind of half chances
he
to
had a
do
great
something decent, and
pass.
he
Who
was
was it for?
the
Remember
for
through the
Diaz,
line
yeah,
For
for
Diaz.
Diaz. Yeah,
yeah, when he came on straight away. But to be honest with you, he was rusty as fuck looking at him. For me, anyway, I thought he was off it, and I could see why he only got a few minutes. To be honest with you, I don't think he had that much of an impact. Robertson, for me, had much more impact coming on a left
Robertson's
back.
brilliant.
He,
Yeah,
he was he was bombing forward, and himself and Diaz, I think. Anyway, they are a quality partnership, the two of them. But like, had Walker in knots in the second half then as well. So look, I was delighted with the character and the commitment and the kind of like, fuck it, it's City, but we're going to go at them, because so many teams don't do that. And it just goes to show you that they were rattled. It's in that period of time they could have conceded 3 goals in that 15 minutes until they hauled De Bruyne off and got Kovacic on and put Doku
Mm.
on the wing. Like, Doku, in fairness, now we were saying about next last week and
Yeah.
whether or not, but like when he came on and that impact coming off the bench with 15 minutes to go with legs, like he turned
Yeah,
he's a
Gomez
threat.
inside
Yeah,
out.
he did,
He
definitely.
turned Gomez inside out several times. He even got 1 or 2 where he went down the byline and pulled them across, and he was just constantly dangerous. And it would have been a kicker, sickener,
Of course.
if Doku had got that goal. But I have to say, I'm very proud of the team that was out there and what they did, and that they should have won that game, because and it's interesting, the kind of rhetoric around it, because everyone's talking about that this is City's best chance to go to Liverpool and win, had the best chance to go there, and yet they were absolutely annihilated for probably at least one half of the game.
Mm.
So you could argue whether or not City have actually come to Anfield and bottled it, to be honest with you, because you come there, they're 1-0 up in the game, they're cruising, and then suddenly they
How
decide
could
to go
you
back
say
into
that
their shell.
how could you say
They're
we
coming completely back into
bottled
their
it?
shell. They had a chance to go. It's like,
Dan, how did we bottle it? Come on.
because you're 1-0 up, cruising in the game, playing against a very, very weak Liverpool side, missing 6 of their starting 11. You were a full strength, absolutely no excuses.
he
Flying
has
in,
that point.
flying in the league.
He has
And
a point,
you're
but it's
one
not
nil
a right
you're,
one.
you're 1-0 up, you were cruising and decided to go into your shell, decided to implode with a stupid back pass. Your goalkeeper as well didn't have to go and clean Nunes out of it, but cleaned them out of it. And then after that, you were literally, for until Kovacic kind of come on, and I think there was a bit of steam that ran out of us in that as well. Like, you literally had about 15, 20 minutes there where honestly it's like you were going fucking backwards. Like, I think
Yeah.
Never said it was like your laces were tied together. So anyway, I think that for me it showed that Liverpool have the character, regardless of what way they are injuries wise, to compete and to go for it. And if anything, it's shown a vulnerability that I'll be very interested to see when Arsenal go there in a couple of weeks, of whether Arsenal can kind of show that vulnerability in City. Because to be honest with you, like, I have to say, I was very, very, I found it very, very interesting seeing in the second half how De Bruyne in particularly crumbled. It's like his legs were completely gone. He couldn't move around the pitch, and every time he got the ball, he was just dispossessed, and then he was hooked off. So
Can I
yeah,
ask you what went wrong for City? Like they obviously the City I saw for the first 10 minutes was a City I expected for the 90 minutes,
Yeah.
and
What went
and
wrong for
and
City?
and, and like why is it just the intensity of Anfield,
Yeah,
the intensity of
absolutely.
pressing, like where the players just like the passing, like if this was City last season, do you think they would have been better, or do you just think it's just a game,
No, I think
one-off
Liverpool,
game, like
Liverpool are Liverpool. I mean, when we have gone to Anfield over the years, like that type of scenario has happened a number of times where like they have bombarded our goal with chances, and in the past they have won games. I mean, remember that game where they got 3 goals in the space of like 10, 15 minutes. I think it was in the Champions League. They destroyed us. You go to Anfield and like there is such a rivalry between City and Liverpool that like it was surely anticipated, regardless of the strength of Liverpool. You're not going to get a half-arsed effort from them. Like they are a team that has a manager that will build them up with so much kind of pride that they will do nothing but kind of fight 100%. And that's what they did yesterday, and they were brilliant. As for City, I suppose like we were nowhere near our best. De Bruyne, what do you call it, had one of his off games and rightly got replaced. We needed Kovacic on the ball. We needed him keeping the ball. De Bruyne was nowhere as near as effective, and Doku coming on as well also kept the ball, got the ball up the other end of the pitch, took pressure off our defence. The argument that the strength of our team versus the strength of Liverpool. Yeah, there is a merit to that because Liverpool were missing some of their key players, and City should have taken advantage of that. But Dan mentioned it last week as well that Pep fears Anfield, and there's definitely merit to that argument as well because it's been there for all to see for years that when Pep goes to Anfield, the team that he's managing changes. Whatever it is about Anfield, it's
yeah,
that
yeah,
it's that
gets in his head,
atmosphere.
like.
It gets in his head. He starts messing around with different tactics, and he just doesn't like it. And it's just something that'll never change. Dan said it last week that he thought it would be 2-1 because Liverpool have City's number at Anfield, and they were literally within an inch of doing it again, but they
Mm,
didn't. And
just as well, we haven't mentioned like Kwanzaa at centre back, and
brilliant.
like honestly, like Haaland,
Van
did he
Dijk
have a
was
kick?
amazing. God, he was such a
he was
Like
leader, like on the
excellent.
day, like some of the tackles
yeah,
he put in.
I just thought that they really they've done a good job on quite Haaland. He had that one run against Van Dijk.
Yeah,
It was class to watch, Travis, wasn't
it
it? Like
was
Yeah,
that.
very
it's
good, very good. Yeah,
But like I thought that Van Dijk was immense, but Kwanzaa alongside him as well. Like again, like in such a big game. There was one time there where he took the ball, he went by 2 players, had a shot. Like that kind of confidence in the young players that we have. You can't understate it. Like Bradley again, I thought was very good.
mm.
So like looking at it though, like it's going to be very very tight. I have a feeling now just off the back of our performance and the result of the game that goal difference could be in and around this. Come the end of the season as well that we could be
It's an
looking at
extra
this.
point, I guess, isn't it?
It's very tight between the three on points,
yeah,
and I think goals wise will Arsenal done theirs like a great service there in the last couple of weeks because we were talking about how Saka and Martinelli, these lads, their numbers are so low. And
Yeah, yeah.
suddenly within a few
It's
weeks they're
shot
at
up.
shot up their,
But
their
the,
numbers.
the
But
the Arsenal City game will be massive, like in the
mm,
whole grand scheme of things. Like if
mm,
absolutely.
Arsenal beat City in the Etihad, which would be amazing, but if to beat them, it really puts Arsenal, I think, in the driving seat.
mm,
I would say, like, you know what I mean. But that they could also lose 4-1. Like, but I just
yeah.
think they're probably better off. I think City this season. It's bold to say this, but City this season, I don't know, are they as good as last season? I think defensively they have a bit more frailties that they've had
Absolutely, yeah.
in the last seasons gone by. Like, so
And I don't rate that
let's.
goalie. And I've said this to
Yeah,
Deck, and
you
he doesn't
said
agree with
that,
me.
Dan. Yeah,
Did
I
you see
remember
when he
that.
came on? I know he came on as a sub, but did you see how many times he kicked the ball straight to Liverpool's midfield when he came on?
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
he's that good.
It's
I don't.
funny, Dan, you said it because a lot of people rate him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know they do. Yeah.
I'm on the same
And he
boat
had
with
an
you.
and
I'm
he
not
had
sure
an
if.
he made an excellent save when Robertson whipped it in. Was it Nunes?
Well, it was one of
Had a
them, but yeah,
chance.
he came out and Nunes got a touch on the ball.
Still
But
made the
I just
save.
don't. I think he's a big drop off from Ederson, and I think it'll be interesting how long Ederson is out because no more than your
Yeah,
good friend Ramsdale there and what he was up to at the weekend. I
yeah, yeah.
think that the number twos. I think if we were to look at our number
Kelleher
three,
again,
yeah,
lads.
yeah. If you look at our number
Brilliant.
twos,
Like,
I think we have the best of the three number twos anyway. But
yeah. And I wasn't sold on Kelleher a few months back. You know, he made one or two mistakes. No, this is maybe the very start of the season or
yeah,
even
no, he
last
did.
season.
Yeah, yeah. He
And
looked small in net or
since
something. I don't know. Yeah,
since he got
yeah,
back in the team, like, and he knew he was going to be in it for a while, he's been pretty much nigh on a perfect, like, in
yeah.
in everything he's done. So fair
Yeah, it's
play to
going to be
him.
really interesting, though, isn't it? Like it is, like you
Absolutely,
know,
yeah.
when you look at
It's
the
impossible to call. Like, how many,
it
like,
is
just saying now,
it
how
is.
many points can either of our teams drop between now and, or let's say the winning team drop between now and the end of the season for them to win the league?
Oh God. Can each
I think they all will
yeah,
drop points.
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
do.
but would you say could you drop three
Couldn't
points and
you
still
couldn't
win the
lose in
league?
two. I don't think. I think you could. You maybe you could get potentially if you think everyone's going to drop points, maybe four. But I don't think you could lose two games of 10 left. I don't
No.
think you can lose two, could
So
you?
four points. You can still think you win a title losing 4 points.
I think that there's a chance that the three
No
sides that
more,
are left
yeah.
might all lose 3 or 4 points. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
that's the most that I think they'd lose. I don't think that like you can't see Arsenal, City, or Liverpool, especially when you come into the stage of the season then where there's a lot of teams. I know they play a few good sides that have stuff to play for, but they also are playing sides that fuck all to play
So
for. And
like if
usually,
City beat Arsenal next or when they're playing end of
mm,
March, like you
Yeah.
could see City winning the rest of the games. That's the
yeah,
Well,
well,
problem.
yeah,
Tottenham away.
yeah, Tottenham
Tottenham
away
away. Oh,
is
that's a tough
probably
game, yeah. Arsenal
yeah,
game away as well, of course.
Yeah.
yeah, and I
Long way
just
to go.
the reason you just you know when it gets closer like that as well, and the Champions League will play a factor, the Europa League, all these things will play a factor in the amount of games, and then like that we're kind of showing. The interesting thing is, I suppose, is that like Liverpool have shown the character with the injuries.
Yeah.
It'd be very, very interesting just by chance if Rodri had a couple of games out or
Yeah,
Rice had a couple of games out. Because I have
yeah.
a feeling for both your sides that if you just lost Rodri or Rice, if you'd be a different team. To be honest
Well,
with you, I
we'd
think that's
have
what we
well,
are. Yeah,
yeah, you could
you
say that
know,
maybe for a bit, but like
mm.
we'd have a bit, maybe a bit more depth now with Party
Saliba.
back or whatever. But well, if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
lost,
So you
okay,
won't
if you
want to
lost
lose him.
Saliba,
Well,
well, we
we
get
won't want to lose Van Dijk though either. Like you know, so
no,
it's
yeah. If we lost
yeah,
Saliba, like we were a bit better than last season, we'd have like Ben White come
yeah.
in at centre back. We're a bit more prep, but like in comparison to Liverpool's injuries, Arsenal haven't had a smudge on what they've
Mm.
had really. And to have gotten through it, like they've gotten through it now. I think they've done brilliantly, Liverpool. But the one thing I would say is like they probably haven't had a
I'm proud of Liverpool.
yeah, they haven't really had a run of Premier League games with all them injuries together. Like they had the Forest game was pretty much their main one that I was like that's going to be bananas game because of all the injuries and it's away from home.
Yeah.
There was no other games that fell in the Premier League away from home that they had this depleted squad. If you know what I mean. The City game obviously was the next one, which you'd expect them to lose because they
We
had
were
a
missing
depleted
Salah for
squad.
a while though, Howard.
You missed the
I
Salah. You came back what against Luton or whoever it was, or I can't remember who you were playing. But you're missing Salah. You maybe played 2 or 3 games since, but like you've played a lot of cup games. You see, you forget you played Carabao Cup, you played the FA Cup. So like, if you were actually, do you know what? If you weren't in them competitions, you would probably have to play a Premier League game in some of them.
mm,
Well, maybe not, but well, you would have in the Carabao Cup final,
I
and
actually
you would have had a depleted squad for that in the Premier League game. Do you know what I'm saying?
We went to
Like
Brentford away though again to beat squad, and
Brentford
that was
away.
our that
That's
was
that was a good win. Was that
yeah.
4-1?
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying like that. I know what you're saying that there wasn't a mass answer at 10 games where they were missing
Yeah,
all key
that's what I was
players.
getting at. Like it was the
Yeah, yeah, I
month of
get you, I
February,
get
pretty
you.
much. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah,
didn't
I
have a massive amount of Premier League. Sorry, in the month of February. Go on,
yeah, yeah.
Patrick.
I've just a question. We'll kind of finish up in this game now. So, of the two teams, say Howard, City and Liverpool, if Arsenal were not to win
Yeah,
it, who would you like to see win it?
I would have to say Liverpool. I'm afraid.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
no,
sorry,
don't, no,
sorry,
no,
sorry. It's just
no,
because there's
no,
it's
100%. I get
something
that.
different. You know what I mean? And
Um,
the yeah top
Arsenal.
class season.
Before you ask me,
Dan,
Deck, Arsenal.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
man, I can sense I can sense the hatred bubbling, Dan. You know
No,
that.
no, 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 no. Just I just think it'd be nice for a change. You know, a team that have won things on
Uh,
merit. Yeah, yeah,
What would
it'd be
you say,
nice.
Dick?
I'd say Arsenal, just because I don't like him now. He's after really digging it in now, and I'm going to let him have it because they were excellent yesterday. But the fact is, we left Anfield with the same number of points that Liverpool left Anfield with yesterday. It was a draw,
That's a good point, but I would
you know.
say it may have hurt City a bit more in regards to what they thought they could have done. Like I think
Yeah,
John
exactly. The
Stones did
City
he give
players
a
look.
he get
Yeah,
actually John Stones and both Van Dijk, both of them crowd said this they were disappointed not to win, which you can understand.
Well,
But I just feel
yeah.
like City thought this a good chance to beat them here now. Like, if we want to beat them in Anfield, and they still couldn't do it.
Mm.
Fair enough.
But look, it's
Yeah,
only
it's
a
on to
point.
the
It's still a
next week.
point. Still a point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So what do you call it? Other results over the weekend. So Arsenal 2, Brentford 1. Arsenal went top.
No.
Wolves 2, Fulham 1. Crystal Palace 1, Luton 1, Bournemouth 2, Sheffield United 2, United 2, Everton nil, Aston Villa nil, Spurs 4. That was a big result.
I watched
Right,
Mm.
that actually. Do you watch that?
Yeah.
No.
Watch that. Yeah,
just
yeah,
the
Yeah, I
yeah.
watched that. I thought it
highlights.
was a good. I thought it was a good. Like, I don't think it was a 4-0 game, but like it was actually a good contest. But like, what was John McGinn doing?
John McGinn
McGinn, the
was.
dirtbag. I didn't like that
What was he
tackling.
doing?
I don't like them tackles. Like, even if they're some people online say, "Oh, well, he wasn't really endangering or that," but like,
Ah, he clean
I
out.
hate them like cynical, no intention to play the ball, and you're just
Just
like
booting.
seeing red
Yeah,
mist, and you're just booting a guy in the air. Like,
yeah.
that just stuff.
Yeah.
It's petulance. You know what I mean? It's deserved to
The,
be
he-
sent off.
the head
It's so.
goes though, Howard.
The
Have
head
you
go.
never
I
have
know
you have you ever got a red card in your
the head goes. Probably have, but it wasn't for booting some lad up the ass, like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It was an innocuous stamp,
Very good.
stamp on the ankle.
I
Um
do think that I do think that I do think that it's big for Spurs having.
oh
You can
yeah.
see the difference in Doggy and Porro, Nick, having them
Yeah,
back.
massive. I
A
think
massive difference. Yeah.
they're a better team. Like, if you're like I said, Villa were going to drop off or whatever in January. They haven't, in fairness to them, they haven't. But I
Mm.
still think on paper, Tottenham are a better team than Villa. I would be surprised. I would have said that before the game as well. But look, let's see what happens. I think Villa might be
Camera's a
just
big miss
starting.
for them. Do you know that?
Yeah,
When you
Kamara,
watch the
as you
game,
said. Yeah,
Tielemans can't get around the pitch like he could.
yeah.
Man,
No, yeah, yeah. You're
Kamara
dead
or
right.
whatever. Is.
Yeah, they're saying
Yeah,
that. All right. Yeah, Louise and Tielemans don't. Yeah, they don't fill the gaps as much as Kamara did.
Kamara
No,
was good
that's
at
a
that.
good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, and Watkins was quite enough. Yeah, look, it was just a day to forget for the Villa fans, I think.
Only negative thing is Van der Ven on his hammy again, didn't he?
Did he?
Or did he do his hammy?
You could
No.
be right. I go near the end, maybe.
Why do I think
You
Van der Ven on his hammy?
That's
Was it
okay.
Van der Ven?
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We will see.
Yeah,
You
go
you
on
have a
there.
look there and I'll keep going, all right?
Yeah.
Brighton 1, Notts Forest nil, West Ham 2, Burnley 2, and Chelsea and Newcastle are on tonight, so we shall see. So next week, of course, the FA Cup is on, and there are a few really good ties in that one. City and Newcastle are on on Saturday evening. The big one, I suppose, is Man United versus Liverpool on Sunday. Huge opportunity actually and then possibly as well, one last goal for Klopp and Pep to meet each other as well in the game. Um, what do you call it? The next segment, so this week is the Lads Weekly Rant, and I just wanted to get your opinion on one thing, I suppose.
Sure.
The summer transfer window. All right.
Yeah.
After the winter transfer window and how kind of dour and quiet it was in comparison to previous years, obviously because of profit and sustainability rules as well. Like, are we going to see a completely different transfer window this year, do you think? Or are Saudi
Um.
going to come back and do what they did last year and
In the
stuff?
summer, is it?
Uh,
Yeah.
in the summer, yeah. No, I think it's going to be business as usual. From my understanding, and this is just only what I think is the issue is like them losses that you have to, you can only make 105 million loss or something, or 150, I can't remember what it is, over 3 seasons. I think them 3 seasons are coming to an end this season, as
Oh,
in
okay.
like,
All
so
right.
that's why everyone had to balance the books,
By
and have all their,
by
by
by this.
having their
Okay.
maximum amount of losses done by the end of this season. And that's why in the summer it's a new 3 season
Cycle.
beginning, a
Okay.
cycle. Exactly. And I've heard a lot of journalists now saying that it's going to be a big summer for a lot of clubs. So I'd assume that's the scenario for most of
Okay.
the
Fair
clubs and stuff
enough.
out there. Yeah.
I wasn't aware that like the cycle was coming to an
Yeah,
end.
that's
So
why I
like,
think, Chelsea, there's like talk about Chelsea getting caught for financial fair play, and they need to sell homegrown players
oh yeah, I did.
before the last day in June, or whatever, the before the summer transfer window closes, because it falls underneath fitting in your losses for that cycle, as you said, for the current cycle. But
Interesting.
but anyway, yeah, that's my take on things.
Yeah, Van der
Fair.
Ven done his hammy. I just wanted to check that. I was right. I was there
Confirmed.
going and second guessing myself. 'Cause I watched it late last night. I watched the double header, so I was there. Fucking, I'm trying to think. Was it?
That's a
He did.
big
Yeah,
loss for him again.
yeah. He's
He's a
class.
great player. God, he's
Yeah.
so quick
Uh,
over the first 10
um.
meters, whatever. Like,
Yeah. On the. I think the window would be the same. I think if anything as well. Now then the clubs didn't spend in January, so there might be a few more pounds kind of knocking around. come the
Do,
summer window this year.
do
Yeah.
you think Saudi will do what they did last year?
Definitely,
Do you
100%.
think
Yeah, yeah.
so?
I'd imagine like it'll be interesting to see what happens with Salah. He's kind of coy
Yeah.
enough on whether or not he's staying or going, and it might just depend on how the season pans out as well. And
Yeah.
and again, he did say that the manager thing doesn't really matter. And I believe him with that. I don't think it really is because I think for him, he's won everything at Liverpool. It'd be great, like Van Dijk has been unbelievable this season, and you'd hope that they can pen him down to a new contract. But if you're going to lose either of the two of them now,
Of course,
I think at the
Salah.
moment
Yeah.
I probably would say Salah of the two of them,
Mm.
and because the money you get from probably off
Yeah.
Saudi, you get stupid money. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like it might be in your interest to take and come to summertime. But yeah, I think the Saudis will still be knocking around. Sure, they're losing a few lads, so they're going to have to try and replace them with other lads, aren't they? Like a few
That's
lads
what
that
I
want.
mean. During the summer,
Yeah.
like there was so much kind of attention on the Saudi Pro League and who they're bringing in, the amounts
Mm,
they were spending, whereas the actual footballing side of things since this transfer window closed,
mm.
I haven't heard a thing about the league. I couldn't
Mm.
tell you who's leading, who's in
Yeah,
relegation
yeah,
trouble.
it's true.
I don't know a thing about the league, but it's just
It,
kind of
it,
shows. Sorry, what the?
No, no, it is going to show, but it also, when you look at it now, where we were kind of, even though we kind of suspected it was all due to money, it was all due to money, but even more so now that players have come out and said what a joke it is over there.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
players go now, it's just only one thing that they can't be going over to, develop the league. That kind
yeah. Of
of
comes.
Yeah,
phrasing is kind of gone
yeah,
now.
that
It's just
excuse is gone.
yeah, yeah. If they're going over just for the coin, like so. I'd imagine they'd be back in, but it's going to be interesting summers. Like Liverpool will have a few positions to kind of look at. I think centre back is going to be one where they might
I actually see
the
as well,
next
Dan. He
move.
brought back your man Edwards.
He's
Yeah,
coming
he seems
back,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, he's coming back into the fold. So they seem his role. I think is going to change, but he would have been there during most of Klopp's time.
Yeah,
And then there was talk of the fact that Klopp was getting so much control, Edwards kind of felt nearly a bit surplus and left. So I don't know. There's a lot of kind of, but they're mad keen to get him back. Like that's been kind of an ongoing thing for weeks now, and it sounds as if it's nearly over the line, and it might be more of a kind of a like what United are trying to do now, where it's kind of redevelop a lot of kind of someone looking after a lot of their different services or runnings of the club. I don't know what
yeah,
title.
okay,
There's so many
okay.
titles been knocked around for what his might be or whatever. But yeah,
Did I
that'll be interesting as well.
did I see? Are they looking to knock down Old Trafford and rebuild it?
No, two things. One, either knock it down or build beside it. It's
New
either
Trafford,
knock
they're
it or
going to call
build.
it. New Trafford.
New Trafford. They need a lot of new stuff in.
Glazier
I
Bowl.
know. The Glazer
The
Bowl. I like
Glazer
that.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a ring to it, doesn't it?
That's the Glazer. That's a good one.
But yeah, it
Okay.
seems that they're going to. You'd imagine like that like there's money available to United as well. In you would think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And City, I presume, will do what they do as well, where they'll find one or two. And
The-
again, I'd be interested to see like whether or not the likes of Bernardo Silva and a couple of them guys, come the summer again. Like there's a few players that have been at City that again have been there a long time.
yeah.
And if they were to go and win another Premier League, win the fourth in a row, and maybe another Champions League, who knows? You
Yeah. I
wonder for
know.
a few of them of whether or not they'd want to change the scenery as well.
Just actually on the Champions League. Howard Arsenal tomorrow night
Yeah,
against
big,
Porto.
big game. My God, like if they lose this game, don't go through like there'll be a whole big, black mark on the season, I think.
The
With
wheels
like,
could come off. You could be the
you
first
could
one to
easily
break, man.
the media will be on their back, the fans be on Arteta's back.
Yeah.
The I'm sure the word bottle would come out at some stage. So yeah, massive game. And you know what? I'm not looking forward to it.
No.
Just because of the way Porto are going to play, like it's literally
Okay.
going to be falling on the ground, stop and play as much as you can.
Yeah.
Any little thing, slowing the thing down from the start of the game, and it's going to be one of them. They try and slow the game down so much that like every little time you go forward, you need to try and make a chance, like or just get an early goal because it
I
just
get the feeling it's either going to go one of two ways tomorrow night. It's either going to be Arsenal going to breeze through,
yeah,
just
yeah,
score, then it'll end up 3 or 4-1,
or yeah,
or
or
Porto will do as you say,
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
completely disrupt your rhythm, be stubborn as fuck, and it could be
yeah.
still 1-0 to them, maybe
At the
65
very
minutes
end,
gone, and then
yeah.
I don't know what happens then after that. So,
No,
I think
you're
they'll
right.
bash them,
And
Howard. I think they'll
it's
bash them.
yeah, I think look, we get a couple of goals at the start. Like I don't think their away record's great. I think if we get a couple of
Terrible.
goals start of the game, we could end up winning
Yeah.
4 or 5 nil. Like, that's one likely scenario.
yeah.
But like
Portuguese team's record, I read it. I think it's terrible.
brutal. I
And
don't think they've ever won a game in England.
yeah, yeah, and
Really?
they've
Porto.
And Porto are doing poor enough in their own domestic league, aren't they?
They're doing all right now. They bet Benfica 5-0 there the other day.
But
So
in
either
regards to table,
third, second or third. Second
yeah,
or
but
third.
they're
Yeah.
usually nearly top, aren't they?
They're
Or
nearly
nearly
usually that
third.
was Sporting
Yeah,
Lisbon themselves, Benfica.
yeah.
It's just their style of that style.
Mm.
It's infuriating to watch because
Yeah.
you're just like you want to go through the TV and pull punch the head off a lad for the way he's smug and time wasting. And I must say Brentford had tried their best there doing that crack at the weekend as well. They were they
Havertz
were
has stepped up, Howard.
Collins was doing his own. Yeah, Nathan Collins was trying to. It was gassed like Gabrielle was giving out to the ref or whatever, and Nathan Collins was like, "Come on, come at me!" Like I wanting to fight because if a fight scuffle comes out,
Yeah, yeah.
more time is wasted, more time. Gabrielle didn't react, but it was gassed, and Arsenal had the goal, and they got the winner. Like, and then Odegaard was getting subbed off, and he walked over to Jesus like the other side of the pitch to give him the armband, like.
Oh, okay.
And Collins was there like running up to the refs like this is a joke, this is a joke. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is beautiful.
Howard,
What's up?
21 games Portuguese sides have had in England away, and they
And never
haven't won and never
have
won.
one. There you go.
You're winning
Twenty-one
tomorrow.
You
Yeah.
don't need to win this either. You
That's
just need a
true. They
fucking
don't need
draw.
to win.
No, you win,
Dan,
Howard.
Dan, have we got it wrong about Kai Havertz?
No, no, you won't win a league with Kai Havertz if that's what you're banking on.
That's harsh, Dan. That's harsh. You have to say like for okay, 65 million is a lot of money, but like there's a lot of money being spent. 65 million, like what? So Basilai was signed for 65 million. Doku was maybe a bit cheaper than that. You could argue that Kai Havertz is having the better season out of them too, technically. You
Yeah,
know.
Okay, but
yeah,
we've seen Kai
yeah.
Havertz. We know what he
We
is.
know the Chelsea Kai Havertz, but like there's a
You're
reason
saying
why
this is the
like
Leverkusen one you've got now.
yeah, we've watched a bit of the Chelsea off him as I was saying, got the
But
sponge
he has
out.
look. He's scored a couple of key goals. If you're banking on him to try and win your league title,
No,
I
no.
would be.
Look, the only thing I'd say on Kai Havertz is that he has surprised me in his tenacity and getting around the pitch and breaking up play and also link up play. He's not a man who's going to dribble by five people and smash it in top corner. That's just not his game. But he is an absolute handful, and I
He
don't
does bring
think.
physicality. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he has a physicality. And I think people watch him, he's like, oh, he's so silky, but then he doesn't do anything. He doesn't, he's not putting in top corner. But if you look at his other side of the game, you'd be surprised how much graft and guile he goes through the game. And he's been brilliant for us in that up top of the pitch, up in the false nine position. So
Okay.
long may it continue.
He's eight
Um,
goals. I was looking here. He's 8 goals, and that's actually as much as he scored in any season at Chelsea,
Yeah,
believe it or
Chelsea,
not,
yeah,
in the
that's his
league.
top, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Dan, fantasy
Mm.
football. How is the table
Oh,
looking after the weekend?
the table. Well, I watched the game last night, believe it or not, the Villa Spurs game, and I was there licking my lips, going, right, I just need Bailey and Watkins here to do something. But what I
Yeah.
don't want is I don't want Son or Madison to do anything.
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah.
it didn't. Once I seen Son and Madison start, I watched it. Son got 2 goals. There was a goal and assist. What did he get?
Son got 2 assists and a goal.
2 assists and a goal. Yeah. So I'll give you the table here now. But if you had Spurs players in your team, you would have had an all right weekend. Outside of that, like scores wouldn't be too heavy because
Scores are very low this week.
interestingly, nearly everybody captained Dam Solanke, and actually a good few people
Triple captain.
triple captained Solanke. So the triple captained him and he missed a penalty. So they're sitting on -1, I think. Isn't that right?
I
For
know, it's
triple
just
captain?
zero. I think they're just
And
still on.
sorry, they're on
Big
zero. Yeah,
fat zero.
we're on zero as well. Yeah, so it's zero all around. And
Zero's all around,
yeah, they obviously play Luton, and I think the Luton game will suit Bournemouth because it'll be much more open. So you'd hope that Dom Solanke might get a couple of goals, but
yeah.
that really put the cat amongst the pigeons for the majority of people actually had Solanke as captain. So Andrew Curdy is still leading the way. He's still top of the table, but the lead is diminishing slightly. Like my brother is second, and he is about 40 something points behind him now.
Okay.
It's tight enough, yeah.
Would I be right in that and saying that I probably have the highest point total in the
Do
league for
you?
this week so far? That'd be
40, let me see.
You obviously already know, Howard, do you?
yeah. I actually don't know. I just assuming. Is
No,
it?
but he'd have, but 40 is a good score. Like I was looking here now, I had 27, but I also took -8 because
What did you? You took
yeah,
it
because
subbed in
I
a few
wanted
lads.
I got sucked in to put in a few Bournemouth players. That worked out well for me.
Just on that, okay?
Yeah.
Last man standing competition, okay?
Yes.
Oh, how did you get
I,
on?
fuck.
Bournemouth.
Oh,
Bournemouth completely
jeez.
messed.
I,
I'm gone, like.
I had Bournemouth and West
That's your
Ham,
second
Howard.
time gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like your
Yeah.
second
So
time in like
that was
3
my
weeks.
buyback.
Yeah.
And I'm Bournemouth, I'm gone, like. And
I,
Sheffield
I, I,
United of all fecking teams.
I spent
Oh,
25 quid that I'd given to Monkstand, and I had Bournemouth and West Ham at the weekend, and they're both gone.
oh, jeez.
Yeah, West Ham. Ronan, if you're listening, your club are fucking useless.
Mine's out.
Moyes out. The Moyes out brigade starts here.
Oh
I
my
mean, West
God.
Ham in the last man standing were at home against somebody. It was a Brentford or someone that didn't win as well. So West Ham have cost me twice.
Mm.
But yeah, anyway, fantasy football wise, 41 Howard. Yeah, there's a couple there with 50, but like 41 was good score, Howard. Have
There's
you
a
any fancy
kind
players
of
tonight? No?
It's I've
Oh,
two Luton
Howard, your
players and
bench.
a Bournemouth
Fuck.
player coming on.
Howard,
I
why didn't you
know.
play Madison?
Oh man, I had Madison in the team, and you know what? Saturday morning I woke up and I swapped Foden in for
Decided to
Madison.
play Morris at Luton instead of Madison. What you think?
Yeah. Well, I have to play him
You're
because it's
playing
double
twice.
game week. Yeah, it's double
Yeah,
game
you're playing
week.
twice.
No, but
Yeah.
it was between Foden and Madison, and I had Madison in there, but then I was like Villa, and then I was like I leave
Yeah.
Son in case they do anything, and that's suppose what happened and
The Sun 17 points was the one I think, and
was
a good
key.
few that
Yeah,
have. I'm
yeah.
talking here, a good few that got 40 odd of Son. Couple of lads of Palmer tonight, so it'll be interesting to see. And I have Gusto. I have
Yeah,
Gusto there.
Gusto could
uh,
do a job for you. Do you have a free hit to play next week, Dan?
No, I'm fucked next week. I'm gonna have so next week, Tech, there's 4 games. I
yeah.
think 4 games,
Oh yeah, yeah, because of the
and
FA Cup.
most of them are no
Shy
disrespect,
teams
but
like
like
West
shy
Ham
teams,
and
yeah.
yeah.
So whatever.
Like
I think West
it's
Ham, Villa are
West
like
Ham and West Ham and
yeah,
West
West
Ham.
Ham are playing Villa, I think.
Ron, if you
Uh,
listen to this though.
and but there's like yeah, the other games aren't the other sides are in the FA Cup, so
Yeah.
that's a game week though, deck. So I've already used my free hit.
Okay,
So
So how many
people
okay.
out
players are
there,
you able to get in? How many players
so
do you
I
have for next
counted it
week?
there. So I have three so far,
Oh,
four.
jeez.
So I'll have to take another -8 and bring in. I'll have like 7 players next week. I think.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Oh,
I'm
I'm
fucked.
gonna have seven, but I'm not gonna have the
I need the
spending.
international break for my wild card is what I need because I'm gonna come back after it and I'm gonna fucking get you, Howard. I'll get
Oh my
everybody.
Yeah,
I'm
God.
get
coming
the
for it all.
yeah. I'll start. Yeah, I'll send you on a few recommendations for some restaurants there. Get you to book them there with the two.
Is it more or less is the table as you were, more or less?
Oh, I'm ahead of
Uh,
Dan now, of course.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
yeah.
how?
See
Yeah,
that
yeah,
deck?
yeah.
He leaves out what he wants to leave
He
out.
No,
That's
no,
does.
no.
Yeah,
that's
very
No,
selective.
I thought that meant. I thought that when I was saying to you about like that Howard had on that meant yeah he is. Howard has moved like so.
yeah, well,
Howard
yeah.
Howard has moved above me and he is a nice 16 point cushion now as well.
Oh,
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
got
making
So
a long way to come back.
yeah, I'm just looking
I
there.
called it. I said, leave them for dust, isn't it? I said I'd leave them for dust. Isn't that
I
that was
don't
the
know what
quote?
happened. My cousin, like she's down at 13th now. Like it's just after this. I don't know. The wheels have
Disintegrating.
fallen off.
It's a
I'm
Claire,
telling
is
you.
it?
There, yeah,
This
clear,
is
yeah,
the husband-wife combo.
yeah.
I'm hunting down the husband as we speak.
Come
Tell you what, he's only a few points ahead of me.
You're
Okay.
hunting, yeah. We're looking at there, like it's like Andrew Curley will take some catching. Howard, I'm just looking at him
Yeah,
there
I
now.
won't
We're,
catch him.
we're
Yeah.
like 100 plus up in. So yeah,
All right. So final segment this week is the Big Three predictions competition. So we've gone with one league game, two FA Cup games. So
you're not
Fulham
doing
and
two. Oh, hang on a second here now. You're
what?
not doing 2 games for this FA Cup.
I had said I thought about it, and then I had a shit day yesterday when we dropped points at Liverpool, so I'm sticking with the three.
All right.
Fulham and Spurs, Chelsea and Leicester, Man United versus Liverpool. And as well, Dan, I have a baby on the way, man. Expenses. You know what I
Man,
mean?
nappies. I'm telling you, fuck me.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'll be going into Duns with a balaclava and running out with fucking
yeah. Just a little tip to you
try
there.
loads.
A little tip to you there. Just don't. The Tesco nappies have a tendency to leak there, so maybe just it's Pampers or nothing.
No,
Uh,
noted Pampers or nothing.
just that would be
Okay.
a gas story. You with the balaclava and then, getting arrested up against the bonnet and the fucking boot full of nappies.
Nappies, yeah. Nappies and whiskey.
You're under arrest, sir.
Times are hard. Okay, come here. Fulham and Spurs next weekend, Dan.
This is the FA Cup, is it?
This is league.
Oh, league. Oh yeah, Fulham Spurs. I go 3-1 Spurs.
Spurs. Howard.
I'll go a 2-1 Spurs. Fulham aren't
Yeah, they're
bad
all
at
right. Not
home.
bad. What do you call it now in the FA Cup? Chelsea versus Leicester. I thought this would be an interesting game.
In Stamford
Given
Bridge.
in Stamford Bridge. But Leicester, just a complete side note, their lead is down to 3 points over Leeds now.
Mm.
So
Is
Leeds
it
really
did they get
Liverpool.
points reduction or just they got
No,
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 just
just they
just
no?
tighten
lost.
up.
Yeah, because
Just
I
they
heard there
lost.
was
They've
something,
lost
wasn't
a
there, about
couple, and
points reduction as
I,
well?
I read that as well. But then I spoke to a Leeds fan over the weekend, and he said he hasn't heard a thing about Leicester being possibly deducted. So
Okay.
it could be
So 3 points.
nothing.
God, they must have fallen off
There's only three
the
points, so I
bandwagon.
mean it's Leicester, Leeds,
Ipswich.
Ipswich, Southampton. There's four teams more or less going for it. But yeah, we'll see. So, anyways, FA Cup, Chelsea and Leicester.
Me.
Howard,
I'm actually gonna say 2-0 Leicester.
good
Okay.
lad, good
I
man.
just think like this could be
Yeah.
final nail in Pochettino's coffin if they lose this. If they got knocked out by a championship side,
Oh God, yeah.
and it could happen. You know what I mean?
Of
Like
course,
they're
absolutely, yeah. Chelsea are so hot and cold. Like Dan,
Yeah, and just looking at Leicester's recent form there. Yeah, they're struggling a bit. I'll go 2-0 Chelsea.
Chelsea. Okay. And now the big one on Sunday. I'm looking forward to this one actually. United and Liverpool.
oh yeah,
At
Jesus, and
Old Trafford.
another big game for Liverpool, isn't it? They're
Yeah.
coming in.
It's almost like a free hit though because it's the FA Cup, and I still
Yeah,
think I myself think Liverpool will win
in
this one
Old Trafford. Sorry, it is.
in
You
Old
said yeah,
Trafford. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
What do
definitely
you
a
think?
bigger game for them though because of what's left for them to play for. You'd imagine that
Yeah.
yeah.
Howard, what do you think?
Uh, God, I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna say 2-1 United.
2-1 United.
I just wonder if that was to happen, Dan, would that have an impact on the team, do you think, in the Premier League if
I
they were
don't
to
know because
lose to
yeah I
United?
don't know because I know what you were saying there. I when you were talking about Porto and if Arsenal were
Mm.
to get knocked out, it would be a
Yeah,
blow.
exactly. Could have a knock-on effect. Yeah.
And I think it's a blow because Arsenal actually I think and City are the best two teams left in the Champions League.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it was a thing where there was a colour inside, they're like it mightn't be as big of a thing if Arsenal got knocked out of it because I suppose if you look at it, if Arsenal get knocked out or Liverpool get knocked out of this, all it does is it frees up more time. Like I read there today that Arsenal have a big gap now. You don't play for like 2.5 weeks now, is it or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. After the Porto, we were supposed to play Chelsea the weekend, but sure,
Yeah, yeah.
fucking
So
Chelsea got
even I
through, and
said
yeah.
the rest there again, like where City are playing Newcastle and we're away at United. So I don't think it. No, I see my whole thing with the FA Cup and that as well is if we get to semi final, I don't see much of a difference between the Carabao Cup and FA Cup. And I know it might sound mad to say that, but I think now there's very little in them. It's a trophy. It's a trophy. Like, that whole prestige thing for me is kind of gone with them two cups. So if we were to get knocked out,
It wouldn't be the end of the world, would
like you get knocked out against United wouldn't be great because you'll have to listen to them.
it?
So yeah,
On a personal
yourself
level.
that kind of yeah. They'll kind of come out of their sewer for a little while and give it lots, give it a lot online and
Make a lot of
WhatsApp groups.
noise.
But yeah, I like I wouldn't be surprised though if they put up a performance and did turn us over. Just given the amount of games, not sure what sort of side we'll put out in that either because
Do you
we're
think
kind of through.
Salah would start this one?
I'd imagine he will because he'll get minutes again. He might get minutes against Sparta. Like that tie is basically over. We
Oh, is
bet
that on
Sparta.
Thursday?
Yeah, the second
There's
leg
only a
is on
week.
now.
There's only a week between. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
There
So
is
that
talk of the him not going to Egypt. Is there the
he's not going.
international?
Yeah, he's out. He's excluded or whatever you call it, excluded
Oh,
or
so that's
yeah, he's not
definitely
going.
the case. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because I heard there was a bit of loggerheads there between Liverpool and the
yeah. There's a
Egypt
bit of that kind
FA,
of going on. Yeah, yeah. There seems to be something there, but
What does
yeah,
loggerheads mean, Howard?
as in they disagree with each other.
it was over
They
Clinton,
both
wasn't it?
have logs as
Logger.
head. They both have logs as heads, and they're just going
Yeah,
up against each other, like banging each other in the head with their. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
feel
Dan,
better
come here.
myself.
Dan,
Go on.
give me a damn score.
Okay, okay. What did Howard go for?
2-1 to United.
Okay, yeah.
I have a question for you now, Howard, in a sec. Actually, I want you to answer
Is
for
it
me.
more about heads
No, no,
made
no,
of
I
no,
logs?
nothing to do with logs or wood or
I had to do that.
forests. Nothing.
I'll go 1-0 Liverpool.
Okay, 1-0 Liverpool. Very good.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Liverpool to win 2-0. Um, all right, cool. So again, if you can get your predictions into us by Friday night at 10 p.m., if you were to predict all three correct scores, you will win two match tickets to a Premier League team of your choice. It has not been done yet. Very hard to do. People are slowly getting closer. So the very best of luck at that one. Now, last question, I just want to put to Howard. Why is it? All right, explain this to me. I am very confident of facing Arsenal in the league and beating them. But
Mm.
if we meet Arsenal in the Champions League, I'm not as confident. Try and explain
Mm.
my mentality there, or Dan, maybe you can. I don't know what it is.
Well, I think it's just yeah, a history, isn't it, of like beating Arsenal in the Etihad. To be honest, like I would nearly be more worried the other way around as an Arsenal fan. I'd be more worried Champions League. I just don't think Arsenal as a squad, and I'm going to say this before the Tuesday night game. I don't think they have the experience in the European competition. Yeah, they're a brilliant squad and everything, but I just
Uh,
don't think they're savvy enough playing against European teams. And I still think when you're playing against an English team in a European competition like Champions League, I still think that experience stands to you. Like, you know what I mean? We always remember like the Liverpool Arsenal games in Champions League, or the Arsenal United games. Like, they weren't like Premier League games.
yeah.
They were like Champions League games when on the night, like, and it's a
You,
different vibe altogether.
mm.
The Champions League nights. So I you
You'd
could
have a
say
better
that.
chance over one. I think you'd have a better chance playing them in a one-off game than over two legs, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you could say, like you could say maybe Arsenal would dominate them in the Emirates and get a great result, but like it's also City knowing how to play away at home at a European
I
level,
just
all that,
hate
like with this team.
I just hate the idea of playing an English team in the Champions League.
I
It
know why that
meant
is, Declan.
go on, Dan. Why is that?
I know what I know what that is. What was the aggregate score? Didn't we play in a Champions League quarter-finals and
Uh,
wasn't there a bit of pumping going on?
there was. He completely destroyed us, as did Spurs. Didn't they get the feckin' remember that
Mm,
game against
Yeah.
Spurs as
that
well?
was wild.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
What
That
year
was
was
good.
that? Like that was 2017, is it? 2018?
18 or 19, I think. I remember Guardiola falling to his knees, the poor lad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
kind of what I'm getting at, Deck, with Arsenal. Like with this team, like it's like City then.
maybe.
That's the way I look at Arsenal in the European competition. It's like a bit like City when they started with it. They had a great team, but they literally couldn't win in Champions League. Remember, they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kept
But you're
losing. And
forgetting. Howard, you're forgetting. You've got a Rolls Royce there who's won a Champions League.
oh well, Georgie and
Georgia
Havertz.
dictate the play, sure. And
Yeah,
Havertz,
yeah.
tell two boys
Oh
to
well,
dictate the play.
and
Yeah, yeah.
that's actually one of the reasons why they signed him and signed Havertz as well. But look, I am feeling how do you say, confident, not well, confident, quietly confident is the term, of the Etihad game. I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling Arsenal could do one in the Etihad. I just have a feeling. I don't know what it is. We'll
No,
see
fair
now, but
enough. Next
I'm
week's episode will be a preview of that game.
grand.
And just actually on the Champions League, Dan, you were saying is Arsenal or City are the favourites, you think, to win it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
Just
When
look
you,
who's left,
when you,
realistically. I mean,
Jeez, Madrid were lucky to get
I
through
know.
against
yeah,
Leipzig.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if you've seen that game. My God.
Madrid,
Absolutely.
yeah. I think Madrid, like, fair enough. They have some exceptional players. If Mbappe goes there, to change the game for them. But I think they're lacking Benzema from letting him go
Yeah.
in the summer. And then they got like three or four like crucial ligament injuries there. Like, they lost a few centre backs.
Yeah.
They got a good few injuries. I just don't think they're as good as they were. Of course, it's always going to be a big tie if you were to get them. I think Arsenal or City 100%. Look at the rest of the teams that are left in it.
Yeah, I
Barca,
know.
they beat them.
Barca won all with
PSG,
who they won all with?
Napoli, yeah, yeah,
Oh, that
Napoli,
would be a good game,
yeah.
yeah.
Napoli's having a poor enough season
yeah,
considering they're champions. But you look at it like going like Inter, Atletico, Arsenal, or
yeah.
City, you'd beat them. Um, yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Like, I presume by listening to both, you'd rather avoid each other to the
Oh yeah,
final.
absolutely. That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
or I'd rather you play each other. To be honest,
Of
that'd
course it
be
would. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
yeah.
hope he. I hope he come. Actually, no, hold on. Leverkusen, they're not in the. They're in the Europa League. I'd love if he got
They're in, yeah.
Leverkusen. Yeah.
Leverkusen actually might get
Yeah.
knocked out. I don't know if you've seen that. They were, what was the final score in that game against? They lost, didn't they? Or was
They
it a draw
did.
in the end?
Sorry, they came
Against
back. It was 2-2,
came
wasn't it?
back. Yeah, it was against what are they called? Qarabakh, is it?
Karabakh, is it that
Yeah,
the Qatarian team or
are they
whatever, is it?
Azerbaijan or something?
I think they're
I
from
don't.
Qatar, are
But they're playing a second leg against them. It was 2-2, sorry, in the end. So you'd imagine they get through.
Oh,
Like,
Azerbaijan, sorry, you're right,
when
yeah.
when you look at who's left in that as well, like, you know, like, you could have
Dirt.
yeah, like, I look at it going, Jesus, if Roma hammered fucking Brighton, and I'd have
Mm.
to say, I was messaging Keenan, I'd absolutely love to get Roma in the next round just to knock them out. dirty bastards. Do you see the crack going on there over in Rome? There was more stabbings, it was more filth
Honest to
of
God,
their
yeah.
fan base. Yeah,
Uh,
West Ham have to come back from a goal deficit as well against Freiburg.
yeah.
But yeah, you look at it going. If you're Liverpool and West Ham going, you'd have a fairly decent crack. You just probably wouldn't. Leverkusen would be the one you want to really avoid. But you take anyone else, I think. Even AC Milan, I don't think are great this year.
Uh,
So
so you think we'll have English winners in the Champions League and the Europa League?
I think there's a fairly good chance. Yeah, I think so. I think well, actually in all three of them, I think Villa will win the other one as
Oh
well.
yeah, I forgot
I
about
think
that one.
Villa drew. I think with Ajax, didn't they? But I think
That's right, yeah.
when you look at what's left in that as well, like Jesus, Villa are half-arsed.
Is the
Um,
draw this Friday?
I presume it probably would be,
Presume
wouldn't
it
it?
would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
last round, isn't it? Yeah. I actually don't feel confident for Arsenal at all in Champions League. I did at the beginning there after group stage, but I just don't think to have after seeing the Porto game, I just don't think to have the know-how at this at that level at the moment. So
You're
unless
you're
the
you're at loggerheads with yourself, man.
Yeah, yeah,
not
you're having
Pl-
I'm
you're
smashing
in
my
pro
log
match
head
there.
against the wall, so I am.
Okay. Any other business to discuss, man?
I don't think I have anything else.
So anything
Um,
now, anything else that's boiling up inside.
Let it out, Dan.
I don't think there is now. No.
It's okay.
Again, Burnley were up to their old tricks there, throwing away late winners, late equalisers there from West
Yeah, I
Ham.
know.
How many times has
It's
that happened then? That's happened several times, isn't it? Late
I know.
goals.
Luton, Notts Forest, and Everton. Will it be
Mm.
one of those three, do you think?
oh,
It's filthy enough, isn't it? You kind of get the feeling that a lot of them are, oh, Chelsea are one up, lads.
I know.
It was, who was
you
Pat? Jackson and Palmer assist. I don't have him, no, few people do though.
you know
Jackson.
Palmer.
I don't have Palmer, no, no.
All right, you got rid of him.
I got rid of him for I had to put Daka back in.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't deal
yeah.
with that hurt anymore. It's so painful.
Fair enough.
Seeing your smug face every week about Arsenal's enough without having Saka in my fantasy football
Yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah. I
Anyway,
I
yeah.
was watching the overlap. I know I've seen the overlap
Very
episodes.
good.
So
The debate.
yeah, very good. We might in the next weekend's episode or whatever, we might touch on a few of the points they made. I thought there was some good points that they made. But no,
Cool.
that's all I have on my side.
Sorry, Deck, to answer your question anyway, I think it's very tight. I thought Brentford were going to be okay, but looking at that table, like
Again,
they're
hook back
five,
in.
they're only 5 points off safe, like from
Yeah.
off the relegation, and uh, like Palace, yeah, 29, 8 points off it. Maybe Palace, yeah, I don't know. Still, like
It's 10 games to go, like so.
Brentford are probably in that as well, aren't they? They really are. I think Burnley and Sheffield United are fucked. Like they're gone, and it's
Yeah,
like Luton have a game in hand against Bournemouth. Like that's Bournemouth Luton. Like if they were to win that, like they're level
absolutely.
points down with Forest. So I would still think the three that are there will probably go down. But you know what? After Forest's antics there with us there a couple of weeks ago, and just your man, that fucking chairman, and the way he came strutting out, I'd happily let them fucking pricks go down.
Pavarotti. Okay.
Pavarotti.
All right. Man, that'll do. Listen, thank you very
Right.
much as always, and have a
Cheers,
good
Zach.
week. All right.
Cheers,
All
Zach.
right.
Cheers,
Cheers,
all right.
folks.
Good luck.
Bye.